The Philadelphia Eagles have one of the most complete rosters in the entire NFL heading into 2026, my friend. But there is a single position on the whole team that the specialized media is calling the biggest question mark on the entire roster. It is not the quarterback. It is not the defense. It is a spot on the offensive line where, if one single player gets injured, the Eagles simply do not have a reliable veteran plan B to put on the field. And the solution being pushed by the media is the return of a player this franchise has already resurrected once, a Super Bowl champion who had the best season of his career right here in Philadelphia, left chasing bigger money, failed spectacularly on another team, and is now sitting on the market for free, waiting for the phone to ring. But this time the gamble is not as simple as it seems. Who is this player? Why should the Eagles bring him back? And why might they simply not do it? I am going to present the three sides of this story. Why the reunion makes sense, why it might not happen, and why this player is still without a contract at this point in the offseason. But first, if you are a die-hard Eagles fan, hit that like button and subscribe right now, because this is exactly the kind of low-cost, behind-the-scenes decision that could determine whether this offensive line survives an entire season or crumbles at the first injury. To understand the size of this problem, you need to look at the exact math the specialized media is laying out. According to Jeff Kerr of Sports Illustrated, the Eagles need help at the guard position, and the numbers are simple and concerning. The starters are Landon Dickerson and Tyler Steen. Both are set up to have good seasons, but that depends on a fragile condition, that Dickerson stays healthy, and that Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson are also healthy enough to get the best out of Steen. And that raises the question nobody in Philadelphia can answer with confidence. What happens if one of those two starters gets hurt? Who is the third guard the Eagles put on the field? The media's answer to that problem is a familiar face, a Super Bowl LIX champion who had the best season of his career in Philadelphia before leaving in free agency. That player is Mekhi Becton. We already analyzed Becton in depth in a recent video on this channel, when the idea of a reunion first surfaced. But now, with the offseason coming to an end and training camp practically knocking on the door, this conversation has gained a new urgency and a new level of detail. To understand the size of this question mark, you need to look at who is currently competing for that backup spot. The Eagles signed a veteran in Michael Jordan this offseason, a player with 49 career starts, which is a positive. But Jordan has not even practiced with the team since he signed, right after minicamp, and he plays predominantly as a left guard, which makes him more of an insurance policy for Dickerson than a solution for the right side. And it is precisely the right side that exposes the real problem. The battle for Tyler Steen's backup spot is filled almost entirely by players without experience. Micah Morris is a sixth-round rookie who has never played a single regular season snap. Drew Kendall is the backup center and has never played a snap of regular season football at right guard. And names like Willie Lampkin, Holland Pierce, and Miles Hinton could also get opportunities there, but none of them offer any proven guarantee. It is exactly that vacuum of experience that makes the idea of bringing Becton back so tempting. And here is the first side of the story. Why the Eagles should do it. The argument is almost purely logical. Becton is at a stage of his career where a one-year contract worth less than $2 million is perfectly possible, with almost no guaranteed money tied to him. In other words, there is no sunk cost in this signing. There is no real financial risk. Bringing Becton in would simply be putting him in the mix to compete with the young players for the spot, testing those inexperienced linemen, and seeing if any of them can actually beat out a Super Bowl champion. If one of the rookies beats Becton in the competition, great. It means the young guy is ready. If none of them wins, the Eagles have a reliable veteran ready to step onto the field when an injury inevitably happens. It is the kind of extremely low-risk gamble Howie Roseman has historically loved to make. Give him a chance, and let the competition decide. But now comes the second side, and this is where things get more complicated than they seem. There is a real, concrete reason the Eagles might simply not do it, and it has a name: Jeff Stoutland. Becton had the best season of his career in 2024 precisely under Stoutland's guidance, the legendary offensive line coach who ran this unit for 13 years. It was exactly that season that made the Chargers pay big money for Becton, even though his time in Los Angeles was a complete disaster. But Stoutland is no longer in Philadelphia. The new offensive line coach is Chris Kuper, with a different philosophy, installing a new scheme alongside offensive coordinator Sean Mannion. And here is the central issue. Becton was a Stoutland project, he might simply not fit into what Kuper and Mannion are building. The Eagles would not have to pay much for Becton, but that would not matter at all if he were a square peg in a round hole within this new offense. And there is also a development factor that weighs against the reunion. The Eagles need to figure out what they have in players like Drew Kendall and Micah Morris. Kendall is valuable at center, but he is being cross-trained at right guard precisely to earn an opportunity to play. Morris needs reps with the second team in training camp to develop. And the organization has already invested an entire year developing Hinton, Lampkin, and Pierce. Bringing Becton in to take up those practice snaps would steal exactly the development time these young players need. Development is a real thing, and the Eagles have a clear track record of building linemen internally rather than depending on outside solutions. That is the genuine tension of this decision. A reliable veteran now, or a bet on the development of the young players for the future. And here is the third side, the harshest of all. Why Becton is still available at this point in the offseason? The answer is uncomfortable. Becton had a disastrous season with the Chargers, getting released after just 1 year. Pro Football Focus ranked him the 79th worst guard among 81 qualified, and as the worst run-blocking guard in all of football by their grading system. He allowed 4 sacks and 33 pressures playing right guard last season, with an allowed pressure rate of 7.7%, and those 33 pressures placed him 72nd among 81 qualified guards. Translated into plain terms, Becton was bad last season. And outside that one magical season with the Eagles under Stoutland, he has never lived up to his former first-round pick potential anywhere else. As Jeff Kerr himself summed up brutally, a reunion would be interesting, but this is not the same Becton the franchise resurrected 2 years ago. And with all due respect to Chris Kuper, he is not Jeff Stoutland. Here is the bottom line. This is a gamble defined entirely by the question of how much of Becton's success in 2024 came from his talent, and how much came from the specific magic of Jeff Stoutland. If it was the talent, then bringing Becton back for less than $2 million is a steal. A veteran champion filling the biggest question mark on the roster for a bargain. But if it was Stoutland, then the Eagles would be betting on a player who already proved, in Los Angeles, that without the right coach he is one of the worst guards in the entire league. It is a low-cost gamble, yes, but low cost is not the same thing as a safe bet. And it is exactly that uncertainty that keeps Roseman quiet as the offseason nears its end. With the backup guard position being the biggest question mark on the entire Eagles roster, with Mekhi Becton available for a bargain, but carrying a disastrous season on his back, and with Jeff Stoutland's departure casting real doubt on whether the 2024 magic can be repeated, the question left for you, Eagles fan, is direct. Would you make the gamble and bring Becton back now, accepting the risk that he does not fit into Kuper and Mannion's scheme, or would you trust the development of the young lineman and leave Becton somewhere else? Drop your opinion in the comments. Do not forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I will be back later to keep you updated with the latest Eagles news.